Everybody, I'm Dr. Greg Sloop, and it's time for Live at 5 on this Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. Hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day wherever you are. It's sunshiny and nice here at Kannapolis right now, but tomorrow we're expecting some snow, possibly sleet, possibly freezing rain, what they generally call a wintry mix here in Carolina. Not looking forward to all of that, but we'll make it through. It will be great. And we're glad to be here with you today. We are continuing our look at the journey through the New Testament this year on our weekdays. Today is Tuesday. We're up to day 35 of our weekday Live at 5s. And we are looking at Mark chapter 7. Finished up Matthew several days ago now, and we're into Mark. The very first section talks about Pharisees and defilement. Starts in verse 1 of Mark chapter 7. Reads like this. Then the Pharisees and some of the scribes came together to him, having come from Jerusalem. Now when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is, unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands in a special way, holding the tradition of the elders. When they come from the marketplace, they do not eat unless they wash, and there are many other things which they have received and hold, like the washing of cups, pitchers, copper vessels, and couches. Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? He answered and said to them, well did Isaiah prophesy of you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men, the washing of pitchers and cups, and many other such things you do. He said to them, all too well, you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and he who curses father or mother, let him be put to death. But you say, if a man says to his father or mother, whatever profit you might have received from me is Corban, that is a gift to God, then you no longer let him do anything for his father or his mother, making the word of God of no effect through your tradition which you have handed down. And many such things you do. When he had called all the multitude to himself, he said to them, hear me, everyone, and understand. There is nothing that enters a man from outside that can defile him. But the things which come out of him, those are the things that defile a man. If anyone has ears to hear, let him hear. When he had entered a house away from the crowd, his disciples asked him concerning the parable. So he said to them, are you thus without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whatever enters a man from outside cannot defile him? Because it does not enter his heart, but his stomach, and is eliminated, thus purifying all foods. And he said, what comes out of a man, that defiles a man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lewdness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, and foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. What do we need to ponder here? In this passage that parallels part of Matthew 15, the Pharisees come to Jesus complaining that his disciples ate without washing their hands. Now, I know today we tell people to wash their hands, get rid of germs, less chance of infection, all of that. Yes, I understand that. But this was a ceremonial washing, pouring water over their hands in a very visible way, a ceremonial, almost pious way. They had many such traditions and washed many items before using them. They asked Jesus to explain, and he accused them of holding the traditions of men above the commandment of God. They called what would normally be given to their parents Corban, or a gift to God, so that they would not have to give it to them. They did not forfeit the money, but their parents could not ask nor receive that gift that they would normally give their parent. This transgressed the law that said to honor father and mother. Jesus then called all the multitude and explained that it's not what enters the mouth that defiles, but rather what comes out of the mouth, because it reveals the true intent of the heart. Jesus was pointing out that the condition of the heart is much more critical to the spiritual health of a man than whether he washes his hands before he eats. Jesus is being more real here than the Pharisees. There are some things that are just tradition. There are other things that are the commands of God. Then we go to the story of the Syrophoenician woman's daughter who was healed. This is found in verse 24 of Mark 7. From there he arose and went to the region of Tyre and Sidon. He entered a house and wanted no one to know it, but he could not be hidden. For a woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by birth, and she kept asking him to cast the demon out of her daughter. But Jesus said to her, "Let the children be filled first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." And she answered and said to him, "Yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs." Then he said to her, "For this saying, go your way, the demon is gone out of your daughter." And when she had come to her house, she found the demon gone out and her daughter lying on the bed. Points to ponder. From here, probably Capernaum, Jesus went to Tyre and Sidon over toward the coastland of the Mediterranean. This account is also paralleled in part of Matthew 15 as well. He tried to hide from the multitudes, but they found him. A foreigner came to Jesus asking for her daughter to be delivered from a demon, and Jesus denied her request. Additionally, he pointed out the priority of ministering to the children, to the Jews, if you will. That was spelled out a little more clearly in Matthew. However, her persistent faith moved Jesus to answer her prayer, and her daughter was delivered. So don't stop praying. Don't give up. God is moved by our prayers when they are offered in persistent faith. We then move to verse 31, the story of a deaf and mute man being healed. Verse 31 starts like this: "Again, departing from the region of Tyre and Sidon, he came through the midst of the region of Decapolis to the Sea of Galilee. Then they brought to him one who was deaf and had an impediment in his speech, and they begged him to put his hand on him. And he took him aside from the multitude and put his fingers in his ears, and he spat and touched his tongue. Then looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, 'Ephphatha,' that is, be opened. And immediately his ears were opened, the impediment of his tongue was loosed, and he spoke plainly. Then he commanded them that they should tell no one, but the more he commanded them, the more widely they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, 'He has done all things well. He makes both the deaf to hear and the mute to speak.'" Points to ponder. After Jesus left Tyre and Sidon, as it said, he traveled through the 10 cities. That's what Decapolis literally means, 10 cities, to the Sea of Galilee. And this is a unique passage. It's not found in another gospel. A man was brought to Jesus who was deaf and who could not speak either. He had a speech impediment. He was mute, according to the older language. Jesus pulled him aside from the crowd and did some unusual things, put his fingers in his ears, and he spit and touched his tongue, and he commanded that the ears be opened, Ephphatha. Immediately his ears were opened, and he spoke clearly, and Jesus asked for anonymity. Don't tell anybody who did this, but they told everyone, and everyone was amazed, and they all sang his praises and talked about how wonderful he was. Lord, help us to revel in your glory and declare your greatness to all who will hear us. Give us that Give us that desire. Give us that aim. Give us that task, Lord, that we might glorify you, because truly your glory is greater than any other. And that's the word for today. Good to see several of you on with us. Looks like about 14 on at the moment. Kathleen Palace, Sharon Noblet, Jean Goodman, Vivian Thompson, Akwanga, Richard Britt, Crystal Cretan. There are others that I can't see your names, but I know you're here, and I thank you so much for taking the time to be with us for Live at 5. It's our honor to bring you this Bible study each day, Monday through Friday, in the New Testament, and Sundays we're in Psalm 119. Good to see Jaritza Pack as well. Glad you're here with us. It's our pleasure to bring it to you each and every day, and I hope it blesses you as much as it blesses us to present it. Spend time with God every day in the Word of God and prayer. This is a great way to do it. Every morning about 6 a.m., there is a blog posted up to gregsloop.com, GREGSLOOP.com, all lowercase, no spaces. And you can find the blog there, a new one every morning. Just like his mercies are new every morning. We have a new blog every morning, Monday through Friday. God does it every day, but I do it Monday through Friday. And then you can come right back here to where you're watching this right now to see the Live at 5 every day at 5 p.m. where we discuss it and take time to see your reactions and questions you may have. Feel free to post those in the blog chat feature or in the live stream chat feature. We'd love to hear from you if you have questions or thoughts. Thank you again for being here. Please know we're praying for you, and I look forward to seeing each of you again tomorrow, live at 5.